This morning we were called out here to 35 Alicante in reference to a 15-year-old had come home from school. His front door was kicked in, or his side door was kicked in, the house was ransacked, his mother's car was in the driveway, and the engine was running. And hence the investigation began. And as the investigation began, it became quite apparent that this was not an act of random violence, that in fact the 15-year-old probably had killed his mother sometime last night. And after some great detective work and great police work, we were able to charge, or actually I should say, are in the process of charging her 15-year-old son with strangling her to death sometime after midnight into Friday morning. He then took the body to a nearby church where he buried it underneath of a fire pit. Came back to the house, staged the burglary, got some of his friends to get involved to get the electronics and a gun that was stolen. So right now we are looking to charge the 15-year-old with murder. We're looking at charges for his two friends. And tomorrow we will begin the gruesome task of recovering, exhuming the body that is buried in a fire pit at a church not that far from here.
What's the name of the church? Do you know?
It is Living. What's the name of the church?
River City.
River City. It's on. It's 200 block of East High Banks.
Okay. How old are the friends?
Everybody are classmates. They're all students at University High School.
Oh, really?
They're juniors and seniors there. But the son is the one who strangles his mother, buries her, and then uses the friends to help cover up the crime and make the crime look like a burglary had occurred.
And he told you all this, or how did...
We fair to say that he confessed to what had happened, and we were able to go from there.
The underlying motive to all this?
Rage. Rage. Apparently there was a dispute about marks with his mother. And after an argument, it occurred at around 11 o'clock or so. At around 12:30, he went into her room and woke her up and began to strangle her and strangled her until he killed her. And then he had to do something with the body. So he put the body in the back of his mother's car, drove to Daytona and Holly Hill area where he was going to dispose of the body, thought better of it, came back home, got a shovel, got everything he needed, drove 1.5 miles down the road to the church, dug a hole straight down, deposited his mother in it, covered it up, made the crime scene look like a burglary had occurred, and then went to school, left school early, which is where his story began to fall apart, and then got home and made his, in his own words, a Grammy-winning phone call to 911 to talk about this horrible incident that did not really occur.
Is he Hispanic, black, white?
White male.
A white male?
Mm-hmm.
His friends are also white males?
I'm not sure about that. But they are very close-knit friends. Each one say they are best friends with one another. They don't have any other friends in this circle of three. So I think there was a... last night they may have thought there was a pact until the story started to unravel and it became quite obvious that something wasn't right here.
They're the only two that live here?
The father was away on a business trip. He got back tonight. So, you know, there's a lot of heartache in that family. You know, not only do you have a son kills her mother, but you have the father who was away, and you know, he comes back, he lands, and next thing he knows, the police are taking him to the police district to talk about your wife is missing.
How old is mom?
Mom was 46, I think.
When you said marks, grades?
Grades.
They're arguing
Grades.
about
there was a D in one of the subjects, is what the story is. And Mom was furious at him. And Mom called Dad, who was in Seattle, Washington. There was a conversation, and shortly after the conversation, Mom went to bed. And then he entered the room and strangled his mother to death.
Wow.
Huh, you can't begin to imagine how wild this whole story was. So obviously it's nighttime. You know, we have found her, and tomorrow, with the help of the medical examiner's office, we will exhume her.
Y'all really have your work cut out on this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of crime scenes, a lot of different work going on, but there was a lot of, there was a lot of great detective work. There was a lot of great police work. And I think from the very beginning, when detectives got on the scene and looked at the physical evidence and listened to the stories, even listening to 911 call, things just didn't add up. Just didn't add up. People just don't walk into a burglary and, and the story didn't add up. The woman never made it to work this morning. So work knew she was missing, so there was no way she could have driven the young man to school if that had occurred.
Was work looking for her? Was that one of the flags, maybe?
Work, we don't know at the time work was looking. We just know she didn't show up to work. Just the whole scenario, the whole thing, the crime scene,
Really
when you start interviewing the kid, just things just were not adding up. Things were amiss from the very, very beginning. So
he will be kept where?
He'll be going out to the Youth Study Center. There's still work at Youth Study Center, DJJ. Detectives are typing up the paperwork now. They're in contact with the state attorney's office as far as charges and what's going to happen. Obviously,
What's DJJ?
Department of Juvenile Justice. They have a secure facility in Daytona where he will be housed until they decide what they're going to do with this guy. All right.